Forgotten Heroes of the Bible, the man who saved Jeremiah, the last days of Jerusalem. Let's dive in. Jerusalem was dying. Not all at once, not in a single battle, but little by little, day after day, hope was disappearing from the city God had chosen. The songs that once echoed through its streets had been replaced by silence. The markets that had once overflowed with grain now stood nearly empty. Families searched for scraps of food, while children cried themselves to sleep with empty stomachs. Every sunrise brought another reminder that the end was drawing closer. Outside the walls, the mighty Babylonian army waited. Inside the walls, fear ruled the hearts of kings. No one knew exactly when the city would fall, only that it would. Nearly 600 years before the birth of Christ, the kingdom of Judah stood at the edge of complete destruction. For generations, God's prophets had warned his people to turn away from injustice, idolatry, and rebellion. Again and again, the Lord called them back to himself with patience and mercy. But the warnings were ignored. Instead of repentance, many trusted political alliances. Instead of obedience, they chased false gods. Instead of listening to the Lord, they listened to voices that promised peace without change. Now the consequences stood at Jerusalem's gates. King Nebuchadnezzar of Babylon had surrounded the city, cutting off its food, water, and supplies. Every passing week tightened the grip of the siege. No one entered. No one escaped. Inside Jerusalem's royal palace sat King Zedekiah. He still wore a crown of gold. He still sat upon the throne of David. But beneath the royal robes was a man trapped by fear. Every decision seemed impossible. If he surrendered to Babylon, many of his own people would call him a traitor. If he resisted, the city would almost certainly be destroyed. Caught between pride and fear, the king hesitated. History would remember him as the last king of Judah before Jerusalem fell. Yet while kings struggled with politics, one man never changed his message. His name was Jeremiah. For nearly 40 years, he had walked the streets of Jerusalem, delivering words no one wanted to hear. He warned that the city would fall. He warned that the temple itself would be destroyed. He warned that Babylon was not simply another invading empire. It was God's instrument of judgment. The message never changed. Neither did the people's response. They mocked him, ignored him, threatened him. Some even wished him dead. As the siege grew worse, Jeremiah continued to deliver the same difficult truth. The city will fall. Trust in the Lord. Surrender to Babylon, and your lives will be spared. To exhausted soldiers and frightened citizens, those words sounded like surrender. To the military leaders, they sounded like betrayal. To the royal officials, Jeremiah had become dangerous. Not because his words were false, but because they were true. Every day the walls weakened. Every day food became harder to find. Every day another prophecy came to pass. The leaders could no longer deny what was happening. But instead of changing their hearts, they decided to silence the messenger. Among these powerful men were princes who believed Jeremiah's message would destroy what little hope remained. If the soldiers hear him, they argued, they will stop fighting. If the people believe him, the city will surrender. To them, Jeremiah wasn't a prophet, he was a threat. So they brought their complaint before King Zedekiah, not accusing Jeremiah of speaking falsely, not proving his prophecies wrong. Instead, they claimed he was weakening the courage of the nation. They demanded only one thing: his death. King Zedekiah knew Jeremiah spoke for the Lord. Deep down, he understood the truth, but courage failed him. Unable to stand against his own officials, the king quietly surrendered to their demands. He gave them permission to do as they pleased. In that single decision, the fate of God's prophet was sealed. Before the sun would set, Jeremiah would be thrown into a place few men ever escaped: a forgotten cistern, deep beneath the palace, a place where darkness swallowed every sound, and where death came slowly. But hidden somewhere within the palace, God had already prepared someone else: a servant, a foreigner, a man whose name most people have never heard. His courage would soon shine brighter than any crown in Jerusalem. His name was Ebed-Melech. See you in part 2.